understand this, that you may be fascinated by some of the stuff that I'm explaining and showing people that is true about the symbols, letters, numbers, shapes that we have. Like those are just one aspect. Symbols, letters, numbers, and shapes. That's one. Then there's time. And then there's spirit. And then there's consciousness. Like if people are really start paying attention and see that what I'm saying is accurate, and not just accurate, it's what is. And they've heard of God. They've heard of the different names of the Creator. They've heard of the universe. They've heard of, chakra systems and light energy and light workers and spiritual beings and spiritual masters and messiahs and Yezu. And all those names are the power of the word. The power of the word is so strong that the true power of it is that it creates the life. And once you understand the power of the word, which is why I started by teaching those first, then you'll understand the unseeable part of the digits. And then you'll start being able to see the unseeable part of everything. And once you do that, you're living in heaven. Whether you die or not, you never leave. You're a point of light consciousness that goes in and out of bodies, that will literally understand what I'm saying one day. Because if you have to wait, you'll be me when you do it. I know that sounds kind of wild, but you'll be looking like me, acting like me, going through this life from the beginning until the end. And that's when you'll understand what I'm talking about. But right now, you look like you, so you act like you, and you think you are your name. Your is a word of stuff we talked about before. If you think you are your name, you and you are your. Y-O-U. And that you encompasses what your existence really is. And you think that that's you. But when you say your, there's no you there. It's Y-O-R-E because it's like yellow. Let's say yellow at that point, or just Yezu. Like ongoing, reoccurring, expressing. Your is all of your relatives, all of my relatives, all of everybody's relatives, and the words they used to say. So why do you think your, Y-O-R-E, becomes who you are? With an A and an E on the other side, which is the door, the doorway. Between 1 and 5, you have A and E. And there's an R in the center. So you might as well just put the letter R. That's who you are, recurring as. You are, your. So if you don't see that, that's fine. But once you see it, you'll start seeing it and how it works in every single word and syllable, every single word and sign. It doesn't mean you'll automatically pick it up. It's something that your human mind is going to have to practice and have to see. And just like other things that you practice to get good at, there is no getting this wrong. I mean, there's not understanding it, and that will end up making things happen that you didn't want to happen. But it's still not wrong as long as you're searching for the right truth. Because once you start searching for the right truth, the kindness and love that has been locked away inside you and you didn't even know was there for the other things that are alive in this world will just come out. You'll be like an ice cube that thawed into beautiful crystal clear water. And you'll be like, I see it all so clearly now. How could I have been so blind? Like a lot of people say these sayings, but they didn't feel it that way. Or else, and when I say that, I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just saying if they felt it that way, they would do exactly what I'm doing. They would say no money at all. If you need a piece of paper or some idea of value, fake value from me in order to get the value that I have inside my spirit to convey to your spirit, and you're worried about your body getting some paper dollar bills or some digital fake dollar bills, then you are the one who's messed up in the head. And it doesn't mean that that's bad. It's just saying the whole world is messed up in their head. Their heart is scrambled here on earth. And that's true. It's not just me playing with words. It's words playing with us. And me figuring it out, putting it in place like a Rubik's Cube, and now I've solved it. I can help everybody. But nobody gets that, and nobody wants to because they're afraid to see that, because that would mean that they don't have to, but they'll see that all the things they held so dearly aren't that important. Let's just say it's a stranger, and that stranger has a child, and that child dies the first day after it's born. That person has a heartbreaking experience. And other people that never met that person or will never even hear that person don't know, or somebody who knows that person just a little bit feels bad for them. But just like if somebody's raising a garden and their crop didn't come up this year, you don't get that attached to it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, that's sad that those things didn't grow. And in other words, those things didn't live. They didn't live their life. Now, we look at it in such a minimal term, but it's just as alive. Like, if you get that, I'm not discrediting a human being or a child that dies at all. I'm just saying that we're all alive equally. Not one better than the other, not one less than the other. Yes, you take the ones that you know personally as important. Just like if there was a stranger to you and you had a flower garden, that's just flowers, you'll say. But if it's some stranger comes in, they stomp on your flower garden and kill all the flowers you've been growing and putting your love into, you get mad at the person. Not the flowers, because you go, hey, man, you just killed all my flowers. Why'd you do that? I'm mad at you. And they'd be like, I'm a human being, and those are flowers. Who cares? I'm not saying that it is excusable. Flowers do excuse us more than we excuse them, or else they'd be killing us. And you know what they did? Because people were rude, they started making toxins. They started making certain things that are killing us on their own. You know, that's really happening. Their information goes to insects and bugs first. Then those informations go to animals and small game and rodents first. And then that information goes to the bigger game and the meat eaters and predators next. And then it spreads out in the same fashion through water. But those informational sources travel much, much quicker because they're in water. Now then, because they don't have the same kind of ears and the same kind of things, they see, sense, and do everything different. Almost adversely, the opposite of us. They sense with sight. They sense with hearing, but they sense more with vibrational hearing and more like aquational sight. It's like this weirdest thing where imagine if you just had one black dot in the middle of your pupil and it was dark, and every light thing that you see reflects off that black and shows you through it what is between you and the light. That's what a shark sees like. They don't see a person with a red shirt and a blue shirt that says like Bermuda Beach or, Myrtle Beach or, go ride the surf. They don't see that stuff. They don't see some dude in a wetsuit. They don't see some goggles and some water bubbles. They sense something, they smell something, and they sense a threat sometimes. They can tell when there's a threat. They can tell when there's not a threat. Now, people don't spend their time mastering their mind so they can hang out and swim with sharks because they've been brought up to fear them. If people did, even sharks wouldn't be violent towards people. But they're hungry out there in the water, and there's some kind of message being transmitted between the molecules, the spiritual, and the water. And they live in water. And what does salt do? But it preserves things. And water has memory. So salt water preserves memory more than we think it does. And the fish and things in the ocean know a lot more about us than we think they do, because they communicate in a nonverbal way that communicates way more efficiently than people who lie to each other. We lie to each other purposely. Do we not? Do you think animals lie to each other? No. It's either a threat, not a threat, or it's food. That's it. There's no, hey man, come on over here, I want to hang out with you. No. One predator will hide from another predator, which I guess you could say is lying, but they don't act like friends first. And they don't act like they're comrades first. And they don't stab each other in the back. They're straightforward, their intentions are right there. Now, yes, it's cool that we can, but it's not cool that we do lie to each other and hurt each other. Now, if we really start listening to what I'm saying, you'll see that this is all we need to do. Open your heart, open your mind. The simplest, littlest things that you think are kiddie and dumb are the only thing that's going to save you. So think about that. God bless.